Okay.
That even me, I hate looking at cameras because who am I talking with?
And she's pretty.
Oh, she is? Yeah, I made her.
You made her.
I did
well done.
good.
You did very well.
And you've continued doing good.
Yeah. We maintained it.
Yeah. See what you've done.
I think
what
she's
I gave
recording.
you.
I've been recording. Do it.
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is Apondi, my Maro, and I'm Martin.
What's Maro?
Maro is mother-in-law. It's but it's only I can say that. Your other sons are not allowed.
Well, my other sons are sons-in-laws also.
But
it's
my
for
name.
a son-in-law.
Maro.
All right, baby.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hiya. Welcome to the channel. Oh, and if you like what you, if you like the
if you like it, hit subscribe and hit like.
Yes, very good.
Yeah. How to navigate when their mother-in-law does not show fondness to their child and favors other kids.
I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone who is experiencing that.
Yes.
And coming up with how do you navigate? So, I don't know that this is right or wrong, but first thing to do is choose whether that relationship matters to you, because the avenue of she's going to change is a losing game. So if you've met your mother-in-law, and she's like that, she's showing favor and she's not kind to you. First thing
actually
is,
by showing favor, she's not kind to you.
She's not kind to you. So how she has chosen, you see how she has chosen? She has chosen her approach.
And she's not kind to her own child, who is your spouse.
Who is your spouse, because so you make a choice as to what level that relationship. Of course she's there in your life, but you can choose the boundary of what level, how far, how near is this person to you. Once you've made that choice, choose them.
Okay.
So first choose the relationship.
What the relationship is.
Yes.
Create the boundary.
Create the boundary.
Yes.
Then choose them the way they are.
Okay.
They're like that. Choose it. And let it not dictate how you act. So you choose the way it is, but because it's at a safe boundary, you act as you, irrespective of
how that goes. How do you protect your children? Yes, it is very hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah. How do you protect your children? Because if there is favor that's being shown, that's a scary space, isn't it, for the children? And it could have a lifetime impact.
Yes.
How do you protect your children? Those boundaries.
Okay. But you see now also, because you made a choice,
yes.
Once you choose something, you're responsible for it.
Yes.
So it's just like being in an abusive marriage. If you choose to stay, you're responsible for it and the repercussions of it.
It's true.
Bas.
Okay. I also have a mother-in-law.
Yes.
Which is strange,
You're mine, you have one.
And it's not an experience that I've had, praise Yahweh.
Likewise.
Yeah, thank you, Almighty. But the one thing that I do know is in agreement with what you've just said, that boundaries are important, and it's important to love the children, all of them, and that love flows downwards. And because love flows downwards, they love you before you love them, before you even know them. Do you know how Yahweh knows me by name before I was formed in my mother's womb? My mother knew me by name before I knew I was. My grandmother knew me by name before I knew what being I was. Yes, so the love really is flowing downwards. It's flowing from the Almighty, and it just comes downwards. And then once we receive it, we're able to send it back upwards.
Yeah.
What therefore I do, because I have two children that are grandchildren that are biologically mine.
Yeah.
But the grandchildren that are all mine, nevertheless, are many, and they come through my brother, they come through my sisters, they come through you. They are my grandchildren, and so what I've created, because all the grandchildren are mine. I'll give one instance. The week before, a week or so ago, my grandchildren, who do not include my biological ones, come to my house every Thursday to come and play and have a high tea. And I make sure the high tea is special. I have one from my brother. I have two grandchildren through my sister. I have one through my sister-in-law. And they all come, and this time they even brought a friend, because they school right next door to me. So Thursday is Dana Mom's high tea day, and they all come. Why do I do that? Because the grandchildren are mine, and I create a space for them. And this time when they came, the oldest one asked for, said, where are the dolls? And I brought down two beautiful dolls that I have for them to play with. And one of the boys asked, is that Candy's doll? And I said, no, it's my doll. No, but is it Candy's doll? I said, no, it's not. It's my doll, and it's for everybody to play with. So what I create is having things in my house that are for everybody. So all the grandchildren, no matter who they are my grandchildren, and are able to enjoy the facilities without feeling some grandchildren are higher value than other grandchildren. That's how I do it.
Fantastic.
In a relationship, what are some not so obvious, truly disrespectful things your partner can do?
So what a not so obvious disrespectful thing
That Kitt can do.
that any person can do
Okay.
is getting upset at your spouse for being upset at something you've done.
Awesome. For me, I think it rides on that one. Not reaching out to me in my place of hurt or disappointment, and healing that, not wiping the tears, not cleaning my nose, just being full of yourself. And
when you're hurting,
I'm hurting, but you are just very busy inside your head about why the hurt is not justified. And many times, of course, one is looking at hurt and you're thinking, And you, by the way, sometimes I've done that.
We all have. Even the things we're saying.
Be hurt.
Be hurt. Because then you can confuse it as manipulation. Also, the hurt.
Also, but sometimes my intention was I said what I said.
Deal with it. The other thing that's coming to mind, is making a decision without the consultation or discussion with your spouse.
That's a big one. And something that involves them in some way or other.
And I find this thing like in superior, people play superior in different roles. Like with mothers, they de facto play superior when it comes to matters of the children. And fathers, de facto play superior in matters of material possessions of the family. So someone can decide, I'm selling the family car, you've not talked to your wife. Right? Or I'm enrolling my child into this class, you've not talked to your husband. Yeah.
Or this cooker is too big, I'm getting a smaller one.
Yes, I'm getting a smaller one.
I'm selling this one, I can
and
make
you've
money out
not
of this.
discussed. Yeah, that one is happens a lot. Yeah.
What is the best memory you've had together?
Hey, there are many.
Martin and I. Okay, for me, a good memory that I have is the holidays that we all go together.
The one where
as a
you
family.
and Martin spend the entire time sleeping.
Yes, that one.
Well, yes, because
Everyone with their
we've
own?
created a lot of power around that,
Yeah.
where Martin is allowed to go and crawl into his bed and
Wow.
he's sleeping,
Yes.
and I'm not allowing people to
bully.
interrupt that or bully it.
Yeah.
And he fights to just make sure that I can have my lie down.
Absolutely.
Also. Yeah.
Because you guys are bullies.
Yeah.
Let's go here, let's go there.
Yeah, or we're just moving all the time. Kwani ni nini? Yeah. So for me, that's a good memory.
Okay.
Another good memory is that we've been able to I've been able to come and be with you and mourn your mother together and during the mourning period and mourn, but also have lots of laughs and meet beautiful family members in the UK, that kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah, for me, there are many, and there are a couple of moments. Like, I spoke in Kitt, the video we did with Kitt the other day about the lesson of you're already ready. But the other one that's powerful, and I think speaks volumes of the kind of relationship we have and who you are also, is you and Dad actually called me once aside, and I think we were in Parkway at your house, and you told me, by the way, Martin, if it doesn't go well with you and Kitt, you're still ours. You remember? Yeah. So that was quite powerful because it actually made me even better with Kitt. Because then you see that's not a pressure. Now you're being with your spouse not because you look bad to anyone, but because you're choosing them. So I like that because it actually created a freedom to continuously, choose Kitt for kids, and I don't feel I have to be a certain way around Kitt if you guys are around.
Oh.
Do you get what I mean?
Okay.
I can just be, if we've
You can just
Kosanad,
be Martin.
yeah, if we've Kosanad 5 minutes ago, I can be upset.
Yeah.
And
I'd say I'm
I don't have
I'm
to pretend.
upset with Kitt.
Yes, I'm upset with you. I don't have to pretend because you're around.
Yeah.
Because you accept me as me. So yeah, that's a very good memory.
Yes. And of course you're allowed to be upset with Kitt.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kwani.
Yeah.
In one word.
Wow. The judgment is a lot. Judgment. Okay, one word.
How would you describe your relationship?
Personally, I'd describe it in two words of acceptance and guidance. Where, I feel Maro has accepted me as Martin, yes, as a son, as a husband to her daughter, also as a friend and a person, like just a person. Like this person has these qualities and I like these qualities, you know what I mean? Whether it is, we always discuss business ideas or life theories, and I like that she appreciates my point of view and stuff like that, which leads to the guidance. Like, I feel guided by her a lot, as you've heard me say before, but I also weirdly feel, not weirdly, but I also feel like I guide her a lot. And I feel her acceptance of that guidance as much as I accept hers. So I'd say acceptance and guidance.
Wow. Used to. Caring and supportive. And in supportive, Martin, you are always saying, Mom, I've got you. Don't worry, I've got you. That brings tears to my eyes, actually. Yeah.
Kitt is crying.
It's true. You're dependable. I can lean on you, and you keep speaking it out and reminding me that you've got me, and you ask me where am I going, what are the things, what are my plans, and you're always looking into, therefore, how you can come in and give me the support that I need in the next thing that I'm planning to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Maro.
If you could change one thing about each other, what would it be?
Nothing. Well, okay. So we have to answer it.
No.
Okay.
You can say nothing and leave it.
Yeah, I would change nothing because, Martin, I love so many things about you, and then there are so many things that I'm like, oh, surely, brethren, which I wouldn't change for anything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because everybody has to have that surely.
Yes.
Hey, surely, Nyaudi. I mean, really.
Not Nyaudi. Yeah, likewise, I think I fully accepted Maro in her totality.
Just as I am.
Just as you are. So I don't know whether to change anything at all.
What do you like?
You sound like some liars lying.
Yeah, throughout it. Maybe that's what we'd change, our line with.
I said what I said.
Yes, say it what it is. If you don't like the answer, go get your own Maro and give your own answer.
Straighten out yours.
Yeah.
But you know what, Kitt? Also, the thing I really like about Martin is that he's my son. Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, that he's my son.
From a relationship side, not
from a relationship
role.
side, you're my son, and you're available as a son. You do son work.
Yeah.
You put in the work that goes in with being a son. I really like
your
that.
first one.
And you're my first son. Imagine on the other side of your family, your last one.
Imagine.
On this side, you came in and you said, Ndioi, I'm online, I'm the first one, and you take charge as a first one. Yeah, you don't joke around with your role of being a son, and you don't give me that son-in-law nyef. Yeah, where sijui son-in-law, sijui nini. And basically society has designed that.
Yeah, I don't accept it.
So that people do not receive the love and support that they need from people.
Absolutely.
From people, because people are people, then you create roles to
alienate them.
To alienate people, so that you don't get the fullness of love that's been provided for us.
Yes. And that was a very intentional decision because, of course, even in our early marriage days, that was the culture tried to enforce it.
Yes.
That surely that's your mother-in-law. You don't hug her, you don't talk to her, be with her, And I was just wondering, like, what's the source of this thing? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Because if someone is reaching their hand out to you, why hit it away because of culture? And no, because of culture. You're not even choosing to do that. You're just doing it because something has told you.
Yeah.
So
even when you're on your knees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't reach out to you and say, Martin, help me out.
Yes. And maybe
because you're my son-in-law.
Yeah.
So then I choose for you not to help me out. It's actually bad manners.
It's actually what Bible
is
bad manners.
Social scripture.
Some guy somewhere said this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And maybe he had the bad manners with his mother-in-law. So then he decided this is the rule that should apply for everyone. I said bad.
Yeah.
I said bad because surely that makes anyway.
And on that, is there anything that you didn't like about him when you first met?
I thought he was a very little boy.
I was.
I'm surprised that he was a year older than you. But at that time, I remember asking if he was in 4th form when you were in 6th. But you said, no, he's in my class. I was like, for real? But I liked him. He was a nice boy, even then when I met him. And he would come and hang out with the other boys and girls at our house. And he was a nice boy among the boys that just were there.
There were many boys that were just there.
But they were your friends. You came with them. Who are they?
And was there anything you feared about mom?
So, what's interesting in the beginning, Mom was very distant. So I remember the person who was more welcoming was Dad. He, in fact, among the first times, I think even before we started dating, he would be like, son, or something. Like the relationship had already quickly evolved to some endearment. With Mom, she just used to watch me, like a lot. Used to just watch me, Apondi, very formally, handshake. Yeah, so it was a slower burn, but then once I think you took time to watch me and learn, then once you knew and were confident, then now that's what I recall.
That's what you recall, which is very strange, because right from the beginning, I had 0% issues with you.
Really?
None.
Wow.
I was just being me, but you were thinking you're being watched. So from your child level, you're looking upwards at me. And you're thinking you're being watched in a way that is analytical. But it wasn't
because I have
happening.
interest in your daughter.
No, I liked you, and not once did I tell her have that boy go a different direction. I would have made it happen, Martin.
Yeah, maybe I knew that.
I would have interrupted that relationship.
Because Kitt also spoke so highly of you. I knew Kitt's influence had a lot, or way of being had a lot to do with your influence.
Yes, of course.
So maybe that's why I was thinking about you.
But she was stubborn, so she probably would have married that boy anyway. But,
whether you agreed or not.
Yeah, but I would have put in the work, which I didn't need to.
This is a hypothetical situation. For a single mom, how do you keep relations with the dad's side without it being weird?
Okay, I've got stories. There are your adult relationships, right? You got married, then you have children, and then you go a different direction from your husband. You separate, or no, actually it's not a separation, divorce, right? So now this person becomes my ex. I always say don't divorce his family. Apart from the people you needed to go with him. Do you know how you're married to this person, and everything that you've divorced is also in another member of his family? That one, divorce them. Yeah, maybe it's his sister, it could be his father, it could be his mother. Divorce those two. But everybody else are my adult relations. I have a right to them, and I shall not allow gatekeeping or policing. It is adult relationships, and they're not based on certificates. Yeah, the certificate was just the person that is married to the other person. That is the one that is a legal relationship. Everybody else are, first of all, especially if you have children, everybody else are the relatives of my children. And so I don't need the permission of the man to allow for me to get to the relatives of my children. I will attend every funeral, birthday party, wedding. I shall be a part of that family for as much as I want to be and as much as I want to enjoy, and continue expanding my relationships on that end and be at every child's birth. Those are my adult relationships. Then, of course, you may find yourself married to another family. I watched an aunt of mine play an amazing role. She got married to another family, blended her own family that she arrived with into that family, where that family already had children, blended those in. Those children in that new family became our cousins, and she continued operating both sides like a queen. And her husband loved us. And yet this was the wife of a member of my family who had left my family, but really never left. She just carried us through with the love that she carried was so much that we became all some huge family. It was an amazing experience, mind-blowing.
I do get the instinct of, is it territorial? Like,
Yes.
if it's territorial,
Yes.
where, you know, if I have removed this person from my pack and the rest of my pack are accepting this person, what are you saying about me? Yeah. However, I think it's such a great opportunity to realize, and it's a very tough one. I do recognize and that feeling, that instinct. However, it also indicates a trouble or something. You have to get a healthy relationship with, you know, that's an unhealthy way of being. Where, by the way, people, if I don't like anyone, all of you must not like them.
Yes.
It's very
Controlling,
manipulative, dictatorial, if that's the word.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it opens the opportunity for you to have a healthy relationship with actually everyone else. Because if that's the instinct, you can only imagine how people feel around you. Like, and this is your family; these are your people. If that's how you relate, you know, that situation might actually give you the opportunity to enhance your relationship, not just with this person, but actually with your wider relationship, for them to see your maturity and for you to mature. You know, there's the saying of people don't grow, people need to grow up, not grow old. And so if this is the first time you're in a situation where your spouse is being liked by your family and you've separated, it's a great opportunity for you to grow up by learning how to have a healthy relationship with them and a healthier relationship with your family, because, you know, just because they're eating, you know, Tupac said something very powerful, profound, that, you know, just because I don't like you doesn't mean I have to hate you. I'm bigger than that. He said, I still want you to eat, just not at my table. So just because we're not sharing a meal as spouses doesn't mean I want you to go hungry. You know, you can have a meal with my mother, with whatever. So we don't have to hate each other just because we don't like each other. So I think, yeah, that would be mine.
I love that you added that. Yeah, good stuff.
Have you guys ever had a disagreement?
With Maro?
What might we disagree about?
Disagreement.
About where to go on holiday?
Disagreement. But you know...
Is that a disagreement?
Yeah.
What defines
what
disagreement?
Yeah.
One eternity later.
A disagreement, an argument?
Never.
Never.
I can
Right.
say
You know,
safely because
what happened is, yeah, we never, you know, disagreement comes from, even as I'm thinking about it, comes from a point of, you're so hard on your point of view that, and what I realized when we're discussing with Maro about things that, is that I'm accepting of her way of view as the right way of view, and she's accepting of mine as the right way of view, even if they are differing at any point in time. And then it's very momentary, like, I think we should do this, actually, Martin.
No.
And you usually go like, actually, Martin, let me tell you. And we actually, there was a discussion we had, when was it? Was it yesterday or the day before? And you're like, from my old age, there are things I've seen. When we were talking about Nairobi having, what was it? Nairobi having the thing where packages are left at your door.
yeah,
Deliveries.
and milk.
And milk or whatever. And I was like, no way.
In the
and you are like,
1960s,
and
70s.
I immediately disagreed. I'm like, there's no way. And you're like, Martin, from my old age. But because we have a relationship where we're accepting of each other's wisdoms, once you go, Martin, let me tell you, I'm immediately, tell me. Not,
Yes.
no, you don't know anything.
But you know, Martin, it's because both of us are not liars. Because when you go, Maro, let me tell you.
Yeah.
I sit at your feet and I listen. I'm like, yeah. And you tell me, and I'm like, wow, profound.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
vice versa.
I think, Martin, that in terms of conversational capacities, I'm blessed to have you having walked a lot of the paths that I've walked. You're a landmarker. You're a landmark graduate. I'm a landmark graduate. We are learnt language and perspectives through an education that we would never have had, that creates a broad perspective.
Yes, okay, I get you.
Yeah,
and a way of thinking.
Yes, and both of us, it culminates with, but what's the biblical principle?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we have common thinking
ground.
principles and then grounding.
Grounding.
Yeah, because once you say,
grounding.
let's go to the word, then now, okay, you, whatever you think you know is none.
And both of us are like,
we submit ourselves to this thing.
Yes.
I got it.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
What would you do, Mommy, if Martin and Dad had a falling out? Would you try and help them fix it or stay out of it?
Martin and Dad, first of all, the one thing that I would never do, I never cancel people together. Ever. I hate that thing. So that thing of bringing two people together to try and arbitrate or fix them, it's very patronizing. And I watch that thing and I don't like it. Because what it does is it pits these people in who's going to win this, who's coming, who's this person supporting. It's just untidy. So what I do is, yes, indeed, I would sit down my person. And in this particular case, maybe my person would be Dad. Yeah, because that's the quickest person who might be beside me. If on that day it's Martin who's my person and Dad is away, he's the one who is going to be worked with. And I coach. And basically what I do is coach people from strength. So that they build their own capacity to deal with the relationship. And I hold them accountable for how that went. I don't hold the other person. The person is not there. How do I hold them accountable for how it went? So I just work with this one person and I coach them. And that's what Dad also does with me. He coaches me. So we mirror each other and we coach. And it can be that he had a falling out with, if Dad had a falling out with Kitt, I could be coaching Dad. Sometimes Kitt comes to me and says, please, coach me through this. And then it's Kitt that I'm coaching. So I'm coaching the person that is with me. And Martin, I learned the hard way. Before I learned that skill, what I would do is try and sort out these people, and they would tell me, you are always siding with so and so. Siding.
Then it affects the relationship for a long. Now there's a new problem to fix.
I'm the third one, and I'm siding. So I realize I cannot do that. I just coach the person and build their capacity to sort out this thing. Absolutely. And that's it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Do you ever cross boundaries, each other's boundaries?
Martin has never crossed my boundary. Yeah, what boundary? But people have life boundaries. And I've never even had to communicate a boundary to Martin because the boundaries are respect, honor, and love.
I'm trying to think. I can't. No. In fact, the only time I was worried once whether a boundary has been crossed is not even you. It's when, for example, we'd have an argument or a disagreement with Kitt, and she comes to you. Then I'm like, okay, how is this going to go? But every time she comes back, she's actually, the quote you've mentioned, now you see it. What has happened is her capacity has been built, not her side was taken. Because you can tell, even Mom said, now now this is, a boundary has been crossed. But it has never happened, because when that happened, it happened only once actually, that I can recall. It was a thing where she came back with more capacity to deal with the situation, as opposed to
blaming you for a situation.
Affirmation. You see, mom has affirmed that I'm correct.
Yeah. She probably came back with, "Mom slapped my face and put me straight and
Absolutely.
showed me the way."
Yeah, so that's the only time I've ever thought, hey, has the boundary been crossed? But but generally, and that wasn't even you, that was through Kitt. But generally, no.
And there was your experience was that there was no boundary crossed.
Absolutely no one.
How do you respond to scolds or comments about your non-conforming relationship?
Oh no, yeah, okay. That thing, I think it's bullying that goes towards Martin, because he's the younger person, and there's a whole patronizing way in which people operate. It would come to me because I'm female, right? And I ideally ought to be scolded, but I think I have created boundaries to that kind of bullying by society through many years of my life. And your father has stood by me in such a way that he has also helped to eliminate bullying from us. We are the parents of girls, and we haven't been conforming, so we do things the way that we want to do. We build a Simba for you, what I do. And so people have learned not to cross that boundary because my words are sharp and quick. And so nobody's bullying me around how I relate with Martin. I relate with Martin.
Bas. Now, actually, allow me to correct you on one thing.
You're allowed.
Many people may assume there's bullying. Do you know I've never, not once, been bullied about it? Not once. Because you see, many of these cultures, societal expectations, pressures don't work for any of us. And many people,
even they who speak it, it's not working for them, it's not adding value.
It's not adding value to them. And honestly, I think humanity has a language, a code. Like when we all say something that's good, we know it's good, irrespective of which country, which dialect, which whatever. So I feel that when people see us just being people with each other as opposed to what society expects, they actually lean into it. There's no one who has come to me with, "Oh my God, how could you?" More people are, "How? Like, how does that happen? How can I get?" They are looking to get more of it as opposed to conform to the abusive or a way that doesn't work. Because
abusive is the correct
it's
word.
the correct word, right?
Yes, it is.
Because we have chosen the way, and many people don't choose, they just default to the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And maybe they've just not been equipped with the capacity to unchoose it.
Bas.
Yes.
And unfortunately, because it takes two to tango, we are an anomaly in a scenario where I have the freedom to make my decision because I don't have any enforcers in my life. If you get what I mean, you know, my father is not around.
Yes.
You know, my mother is from Trinidad, so you know, and even her, because of the distance, there's no enforcers to enforce me to act a certain way. So I have freedom, and I do recognize that many men would want to have
privilege.
It's a big privilege. Many men would want to have a great or a closer relationship with their mother-in-law, but there are many enforcers that are very close to them.
Yes.
And of course you don't belong in enforcement. you shun enforcement anyway, as you've just mentioned.
Yes.
So I think a combination of that privilege, the choice, there's literally, I really believe and I'll speak for men, many men, and I've seen, like in Kikuyu culture a lot, and I've seen many of my cousins and some friends really suffer because of the way culture. For example, I'll give you an example. During Christmas holidays, you will find many men alone. Why? Because more often than not, the children have to go to a home, right? And by default, you know, sometimes, like, especially because the woman has been married into the man's home, quote unquote, usually now that time, let's say they even do rotational, there's a time where now they go to the mother's home, the wife's mother's home.
Yes.
Right? The man's
Yes,
mother-in-law's home.
Yeah.
But can the man go?
Okay, so what's happening?
The man has to stay. So during Christmas, the man, because culture says you never go to the home of your mother-in-law, because culture also says, even if it's even if it's quick, first you can't sleep there, even if it's a mansion with 10 rooms, you can't. So what would happen is the man who actually wants to be with his family has to be away. Because culture.
So that's happening.
dictates.
You're actually observing that
so much. It happens so much, and that's why when these people see a relationship where that is close, that you can, because you guys actually built for us a home separate in the homestead, where we can come and spend time there. Now people don't, it's so difficult for. And it doesn't work for them.
It's not fathomable.
It's not fathomable for them as how can. So people
because both the son-in-law and the mother-in-law are not equipped. The
not
parents,
equipped.
these
Yes.
two groups are not equipped.
Yes, and they're not
to
choosing
run family together.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying many. It's not bullying. Many are inspired by it, and many are trying to lean into creating some form of it in their own space.
They could learn from Moses in the Bible. He was with his in-laws for how many years? 40?
Even Jacob.
Before even Jacob. In fact, a lot of the people in the Bible, they lived with, the men lived with their in-laws and even worked for them and build up the property. The family property. It is a Jewish, or shall I say Hebrew, way of life. And so if they want to learn, they can learn. They can learn. But if they're learning from social scripture, today, how things have been culturally created, if it's not working for you, it's not going to work.
In closing on this thing, I really want to, and I keep saying this in every video, give yourself the gift of choice. Allow yourself to, in every moment, situation, relationship, choose. Because too many times we think it's choice when it's just custom enforced or culture enforced. Just choose. And then once you choose, deal with the consequences and benefits of the choice that you have made. And I want to share a story you shared with me, you and Dad, about a family, in Tanzania, where, the husband and the daughter, or, the son-in-law and the daughter, had a great relationship with the family. And then, unfortunately, they separated.
They divorced.
And then the woman married another man.
Yes.
But when it came to taking over the family business, that's what I recall, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the first son-in-law was the one named as the next successor to take the business to the next level and whatnot.
And to hold the family together, and he held that family together in ways that are amazing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Including
because
the
of
husband
who he was.
Of the wife.
Yes, he was available to just keep that family intact and strong.
And you see why that lesson is so powerful is that they made so many choices as to who he is, accepting him, even the position they'll keep for him, irrespective of what all manner of culture, and they only got the benefit that they now receive because of those active choices. And I can only imagine what the parents went through. Even by their own daughter. How can you disrespect my new husband like this? I can only imagine, but I thought I'd share that in closing. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. We actually don't take it for granted that you would watch us and that we would be able to share some of these things with you. And also, most importantly, it's a point of perspective. It's not
The truth.
anything. Yeah, it's not
It's
really
not
the truth.
true,
It's
yeah.
where we are at
Yeah.
at this particular time.
Yes.
And we could have another conversation next week and have even rethought some of these things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this
It's
is how
something
it is.
for you to consider, and for us as well.
Yes, and thank you, Martin,
Thank you,
once
madam.
again.
Thank
Always
you,
good working with you.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
God bless. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.